Welcome to the Know, I'm Ashley Jenkins. Looks like the Nintendo Switch is off to a pretty good start in Japan. Well, not that it's out, but even pre-orders are doing pretty good. Gamers there have already pre-ordered 80% of the country's allotment of the console, which launches March 3rd, according to analysts at Media Create. Nintendo said it will ship 2 million Switches worldwide, but we don't have a breakdown of just how much each country is getting. We could all use more, I can tell you that. Still, Japan has always been a hot market for Nintendo, so it's a pretty safe bet that there will be a lot of people playing Breath of the Wild there on March 3rd, and not on the Wii U. Elsewhere in the world, an ad for the Switch from Nintendo Germany shows a guy playing Mario Kart 8 on the toilet, which is an interesting marketing strategy. Make sure you wash your hands, dude. I know we all do it, but you're supposed to pretend that you don't. Now, if you want to buy Resident Evil 7, there should be plenty of copies available. Capcom has shipped 2.5 million copies of the game to retailers worldwide, according to GameSpot, but it remains to be seen how many copies have actually sold, because you'll note they say shipped, and that just means the retailers have them. It doesn't necessarily mean that that's how many people have bought. Capcom has said the game is off to a solid start sales-wise, and they've said they hope it will sell at least 4 million copies before March 31st. As for the all-time most popular Resident Evil game ever of all time, the franchise's biggest hit was Resident Evil 5, which sold 7.1 million copies over its lifetime. As a whole, the survival horror franchise has sold 75 million copies in all, which is a lot of dead zombies. Time will tell if Resident Evil 7 will be a bestseller, but so far reviews have been really pretty good. Turns out, people really like Overwatch, in case you haven't noticed. Blizzard says the shooter has hit 25 million registered players, which is up from November when Blizzard said the game had hit 20 million players. So that's a really big jump in 2 months, especially considering that the game has been out for several months now. Looks like a lot of people got Overwatch for Christmas, probably. Back in November, Blizzard said the game had hit 20 million players faster than any game in the company's history, which is an impressive feat considering that Blizzard is responsible for some pretty iconic franchises like Warcraft, StarCraft, and Diablo. We would be happy to challenge that record with a Diablo 4 or Warcraft 4, just saying. The game's seasonal event, Year of the Rooster, which we are personally very big fans of, is currently ongoing. You can get special loot boxes, and there's a Capture the Flag style mode that you can play for a limited time as well. That's a lot of fun. The Oculus Rift VR case is now in the hands of a jury who will decide if game publisher ZeniMax deserves up to $4 billion in compensation for what it calls stolen technology. The trial, in case you haven't been following it or the updates we've been doing on it, stems from a suit filed by ZeniMax accusing Oculus officials of building the virtual reality headset based on stolen technology from ZeniMax. Oculus was acquired in 2014 by Facebook, which is also named in the suit, largely for being irresponsible and deciding to buy a company in 3 days with barely any due diligence. ZeniMax attorneys are asking for $2 billion in compensation and another $2 billion in punitive damages. ZeniMax attorneys argue that Oculus co-founder Palmer Luckey wasn't capable of building the headset on his own and instead got fundamental help from John Carmack, who you may remember as a founder of id Software and was working for ZeniMax at the time. The company alleged he helped Luckey develop the Rift. Well, at least when he started, then he left. They alleged that he stole a bunch of their technology and so on. It's been a whole mess. Meanwhile, the Oculus attorneys said the lawsuit is a product of ZeniMax being embarrassed and angry at missing the boat on VR. So in case you were wondering, no, the salt never went down. It was a bad day for Pokemon Sun and Moon cheaters because nearly 6,000 of them have recently been banned from using the game's online services. The Pokemon Company said that players with illegal save data were barred from going online, Polygon reported. That usually means that they've used hacks or other modifications, as well as illegal Pokemon. It wasn't clear which cheats exactly got players into that trouble, but the penalty is pretty harsh. Offenders got permanent bans from participating in the game's global missions as well as raiding battles. The Pokemon Company definitely keeps an eye on cheaters. It banned more than 1,500 players in 2013 from Pokemon X and Y for using hacked Pokemon. So don't mess around with your Pokemon, kids. Just train them the right way. Are you a gamer but maybe not the electronic kind? Well, PAX has you covered. Penny Arcade's first convention, PAX Unplugged, that focuses on tabletop games specifically like board, card, and miniature games, is scheduled for November 17th through 19th in Philadelphia. According to the site, organizers said they found that the tabletop portions of PAX events continue to grow, leading them to say, you know what, let's make a show that's just that. Badges aren't on sale yet, but you can sign up for updates at unplugged.paxsite.com. It's not the only tabletop con this year in the US though. Origins Game Fair will take place in June in Columbus, Ohio, and the biggest tabletop convention, Gen Con, is scheduled for August in Indianapolis, Indiana. PAX Unplugged is scheduled for 3 days, which is just enough time for a game and a half of Settlers of Catan, if you do it the right way, which is basically just a standoff. Remember that quest in Fallout 2 where you had to become a porn star? Yeah. It turns out that the game also had a secret formula that determined how good your character was at bumping uglies. Yeah, they can quantify everything now. The programmers explained the formula to Eurogamer. Since the game's quest involved you being a porn star, naturally that meant the game needed to calculate how good you were at sex. So they developed a formula that weighed 4 attributes: charisma, agility, endurance, and strength. And then they multiplied them by different variables, divided them by 100, then added other modifiers like sex appeal. You ended up with a number that summed up your ability to do the nasty. If you scored high enough, you got the reputation as gigolo, which seems a little bit sleazy. What about experienced lovemaker or person who's very good at video games? Yeah? Good at stats. Whatever. A Batman fan with a lot of disposable income just got a pretty cool collector's item. The Batsuit worn by Michael Keaton in Batman Returns recently sold for $41,250 at an auction in Los Angeles, according to Entertainment Weekly. The suit includes the famous cowl and cape, along with some leather gloves, a utility belt, and additional Bat items. Keaton donned the costume in the 1992 sequel that also starred Danny DeVito as Penguin and Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman. I wonder if they'll ever auction off Christian Bale's Batman voice, because someone would be crazy enough to buy it. I would buy it and then I just lock it in my phone and have it tell me things. That would sound really cool and urgent, like a hero. I gotta go. Well, that's all the news we have for you today. Let us know what you think of all these updates down in the comments, and to make sure you get all the news from every corner of the internet, make sure you like this video and subscribe to The Know. I should probably PSA to people at some point that I'm gonna be out for the next 2 weeks after Monday, right? I guess this is that PSA. I'm gonna be out for 2 weeks after Monday. I'm not dead. I didn't quit. I wasn't fired. I'm in Australia, okay?
So you're pretty much dead.
I'm pretty much, it's like